Papa, oka ototeie. Te ake kune wagete. Mesilele torinayo.
It's 9 a.m. and the day starts when two boys arrive at the centre saying they've been abandoned.
These two children have just been brought in. They can tell their names. They can tell that they have come from a town called Okala, but now they know nothing else. They say that they were abandoned by the mother sometimes back, and now they really cannot express what is happening actually. What we try to do now is to take them to our center, and our social workers will really dialogue with them, try to find out these details, then we will know what appropriate action to take.
Panda, panda, panda. Good boy. Yeah.
Among all the community programmes at St Martin's, the most urgent at present is their work on HIV/AIDS.
There is a lot of stigma that has been attached by the society to the people suffering in HIV/AIDS. What St. Martin is doing now is to conscientize the society to accept positively people living with HIV/AIDS. We have assisted the community to realize that they need to have solidarity with the people suffering.
One of those suffering from HIV/AIDS is Esther Wangari, and last year she suffered a second blow when her baby daughter died of AIDS. Today she just has her 5-year-old son Hiram. John Mwara, a neighbouring farmer, is the volunteer who supports her.
I started noticing physical changes, had sores on my body. I wasn't able to eat properly.
Then
through St. Martin's, my neighbours started bringing me food, sharing their own food. I have quite a lot of family, but they never come to visit me. They don't have the strength to come and be with me.
They
just don't have the strength. When John, the volunteer from St. Martin's, first came to visit me, he arranged for me to go to hospital for a checkup. Now he comes every day to look after me.
Yeah, I was doing my job at home to farm, and evening I normally come to visit her and nurse her. And we normally stay with her 1 hour, 2 hours, talking, sharing, and telling her to accept herself, and she will stay.
John is like a father to me. He helps me so much.
In AIDS, we are tackling the problem in 3 different ways. In one way, we take care of the people who are sick. And so we do home-based care. And we train our volunteers to take care of the people who are infected. But the other way is to take care also of the people who are affected. That's, for example, the orphans. So we are now building a house in where we are going to host children who have lost their parents, and they are sick themselves, and they have nobody in their family who can take care of them. And also an important component, the last one, is the awareness. I mean, to involve people in this problem, to reduce the stigma, and to make people aware how they can prevent this problem, which is really great.
Meanwhile, the 2 lost boys, Peter and Simon Nyahururu, are being brought to the non-formal school to see if it has room for them.
Okay, na goko. Nini? Watakiri. Odiye. Tengera, tengera. Tengera fio. Ah.
Nyabe duale ageni aya. Nego kako.
Nebo moiga.
Nye. Hey, alafu ende
As the boys are introduced to the staff of the non-formal school and their situation is explained, it becomes clear that there's going to be a problem.
department. And so they have been abandoned. And now they are looking for a place to stay for the next 2 days.
You can just let us, because we have a meeting here, we meet together and we discuss. Just a moment I give you, we come up to the solution, because the house, the DIC, the house has to take only 12 children, and now they have they are 17, so they are overloaded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very well. So we'll wait for your response.
Yeah, we just talk a bit and we see what we can do.
Very well.
So the miracle is to transform a group of people in a community where it's possible to share. Transform a group of people in a family where there is love. Transform, finally, a group of people in a church where we celebrate the mystery of a God who is not in heaven anymore, but is in our brothers and sisters. And one day when at the end of our life, he will ask us, I was hungry, have you given me food? I was thirsty, I was naked, I was in prison, I was forgotten, marginalized. Have you taken care of me or not?
Disability is viewed in our society as a curse, a shame. So normally what happens in our society, before the community was empowered to look at things positively, people with disabled children hid them in the house. We have 21 units, they are called OT clinics, that are within the community. And the community goes in those clinics, and the community volunteers have been trained to do some exercises with the children in the units within the area. This is a strong empowerment for the community.
Here at Mutangera, there's a special unit for children with cerebral palsy. It's been set up by the community within the grounds of the local school, so that the children feel less isolated, and so that pupils from the school can help look after them.
Even the normal children who are not disabled are the ones who help here in the unit to fetch water from the dam to bring to the children, and also they help the house mothers to prepare supper for the children.
There's still a lot to do, but it's clear that the community involvement is beginning to make a real difference to the way the children relate to their carers and to each other.
If I compare it with 1 year ago, there is a tremendous change. 1 year ago, we would even go there and find no food in the store. You would really wonder, what are these children going to eat? There was nothing, and they came to knock on our door of St. Martin every day to say, okay, now we don't have food, we are desperate, we don't know what to give these children. So the good thing that has happened is that a lot of volunteers went to all the churches around that school. They appealed to the people to consider these disabled and to see, first maybe to recognize that they were there. They were not aware of that at all. So after they realized that, the donations started coming. And the good thing today is that the store is never empty and the community gives a lot of food. It's true there's still a lot to be done and the children are in quite miserable conditions still, but they have already to eat something. And that is a great change compared to 1 year ago.
It's meetings like this of local volunteers that decide what new initiatives can be undertaken for those with disabilities. And sometimes they're faced with horrifying situations.
One day we have been told that there was a girl in a store, kept in a store. She was 17 years old and she was locked in a store. We couldn't believe. So we went there, we broke into the store actually, and the girl was there. She was 17 years old. She was white, completely white, because she never saw the sun. But she was abused many times, and she even gave birth in that store. And she could not talk. She was disabled, of course, but we don't know how much she was disabled because of her own disabilities or because of being closed in the store. Anyway, we took her out, and it was impossible to control her because she was touching everything, everywhere, and it was really out of control. She was really a person with a lot of problems. And I remember it was a Holy Thursday, and I thought to go to visit the family. And this family had 5 girls, and I thought maybe they will agree to remain with her a few days. And when I went there, it was I met the father and the mother of this family, and they welcomed me in the house, and I exposed the problem, and I asked them whether they could help me. And the answer was from the mother was this: it is Holy Thursday, and we are very near to Easter. We will be happy to welcome this girl because we think it is the risen Lord who has come to visit us. And the father said, we don't even need financial support because soap we have, food we have. If you are happy with that, we will take care of the girl. And the girl now is very happy and still disabled, of course, but she went to a school for rehabilitation and she's doing fine.
Professional occupational therapy is a key component and can make a real difference.
Can we keep these 2 boys till Monday? Till they establish from where these boys are coming from. They don't seem to be from the street according to how I've seen them there, but we need maybe to save these children, to rescue them, because it's a pity to tell these children, go.
Our sister now.
With the centre already full up and at twice its capacity, it's not obvious what can be done. But faced with the alternative of turning the boys away, the meeting decides to admit them on a temporary basis. And Sister Mary starts straight away, trying to make the boys feel welcome in their new surroundings.
You know, they need that motherly love. So the first step, you have to be near them, discuss as if it's something you are discussing. Make friends. What I've realized with the big one is easy to make friends, but this one he is rejecting, but I will try my best with the other teachers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So far, like the big...
What about the town?
Volunteers provide the front-line troops for St Martin, working both at headquarters and out in the community. And they're put in the place of honour at the top in every description of the work of St Martin, while the directors and even the chair of the management board put themselves at the bottom.
I am a volunteer with the programs of St Martin, and I have been the chairperson of the programs for the last 3 years. As a volunteer, I give my time to the board. I also give service, that is legal service, free of charge to the board and to the beneficiaries as well as to the staff of St. Martin. And I found there is a lot of contentment working for the benefit of others.
We always say St. Martin is not in the buildings that you see maybe in the compound. They are big, but that is not what St. Martin is. St. Martin is not even there. The heart of St. Martin, we always say, is in the community, where there are people who help maybe their neighbors. and community members who are in need.
The dedication of the St. Martin volunteers comes from their clear sense of the value of the work.
My feelings is that I can actually see the output, and I can actually see our people change from that situation of hopelessness, that situation of being exploited. And instead of actually using my resources, let's say 500 shillings and give to one poor person, I can give, my satisfaction is that I'm giving my time, I'm giving my expertise to a population of around 200,000 people, and that's quite a lot of satisfaction.
So we do a lot of retreats and kind of spiritual formation for the volunteers. That is the most important thing. Then what comes second is that you still need to give them the skills.
One very important training that we are doing currently is training for teachers on basic counseling skills. Because one problem with our children is that they do not have access to counseling skills. And probably the methods that are used in schools make some drop out of the school, because most teachers would insist on academic performance. But they do not consider the other side of the life. Probably the child has a problem from home. For example, domestic violence. So if the teacher is equipped with the skills of counseling, they are able to deal with the children better in the schools.
One of the senior science teachers at the local high school is typical of the volunteers who have been trained in these counselling skills.
Having been with St. Martin now for about 3 years, St. Martin has also trained me to be a counsellor. Actually, the services I render in this school are also somehow helped by St. Martin, because they have trained me. And so I work partially as a counsellor with the street children themselves. And currently, like this week that has just gone, I was away from the school the whole week, training some primary school teachers to be counsellors for St. Martin in their schools. And so that way I have a way of preventing street children from coming to the streets, and also helping those children who are in the school by giving counselling services. Yeah.
What's the biggest, when you're counselling a street child, what's the biggest issue that seems to come up?
The biggest issue that seems to come out is their failed parentage, the fact that they are not living with their parents. For one reason or the other, they are separated with their parents, or their parents are dead because of the AIDS scourge in our country. Or sometimes you find that the children just could not fit in the homes and had to run away. And so they are very guilty of the fact that they are not living with their parents. And that is the greatest problem that they have. So they want to be reunited with their parents, and they also want to get education like other children, and they have a real desire to live a normal life.
In church on Sunday, the people's offering symbolises better than anything else the gifts of time, care and love that the community offers to children with all kinds of different needs. One of the altar boys is Paul Mboga, who just 2 years ago was living on the streets. He still remembers vividly how he came to run away from home.
One day, I met another friend who called Kimani. He told me, let's go to the town and we can find some food to eat. I went there, then I found some food to eat, and then I did not go back to home. I was sleeping under shops. There were many boys stealing. There were many, and they were big, and the girls and the boys. I was taking the food that if you eat, then you throw it away in the tank. I come then, I take and eat.
The situation in the streets was bad, because let's say, especially they were exposed to a lot of dangers and lack of enough food, cold at night. And what they got maybe for eating, as he says, was what they got from the dustbins after the leftovers people threw away. And also now they were also exposed to drugs, like the glue.
If I think of Bogwa was a child who was in the street for many years, and he was very small when he came here, and it was very difficult. We really looked for him a very good family.
The Mbuthia family was asked, and it was up to James and Monica Mbuthia to decide whether it was possible for them to become foster parents to Paul and Boga.
We have at home, sometimes we have food that remains, and sometimes we feed it to the chicken. And of course, we thought there is enough for even another person.
So we came and discussed over, even with my children, because I also thought I had one boy. And after talking to them, they had no problem. They said, yes, he can come. And my son especially was very happy. Now I have a brother, I have somebody to play with, and I felt it was good. So I reported back to father, we are ready. And Boga came to live with us.
So Paul and Boga moved in and is now growing up with a new brother and sister and doing very well indeed at the local school.
Is this one? Okay. What are the assignments? He told me, Mom, you know, one day you'll come to the university to see me graduating and I'll be an engineer. The time is when he promised, and I'll build you a very nice stone house and I'll buy you a car. And it was wonderful. So I like it. And I'm really hoping that he achieves his goal and becomes that engineer that he has always dreamt of. I'll be very proud of him.
If we would have done what we have done only for Bogwa, all the work of these years only for him, we would have done enough. That's what I think.
Underlying all the other problems in this part of Kenya is the fact of poverty. And the response to poverty from St. Martin is the exact opposite of traditional charity.
St. Martin has actually changed my outlook or how I address the issues of poverty. You see, people didn't know why they are poor, and they didn't know that they had some strength in them. They were looking at their poverty, and they were actually looking at, they had some dependency kind of syndrome that was growing, particularly in this country, where the government was promising each and everything, that we are going to give you food, we are going to build you roads, we are going to take your kids to school, we are going. But you see, they were not, their capacity was not raised for them to see that they can actually solve their own problems, and they had some strength within themselves. And actually, this is the strongest point within St. Martin, because they are not looking at St. Martin as as a deliverer of all the resources, but they are looking at St. Martin for training and for sharing amongst themselves.
This aim of economic empowerment has led St. Martin to set up a saving and microcredit scheme which offers small loans to families and individuals, and it's been very successful.
Yes, I remember of a story of one of our clients also who started a chicken project. In this case, this is also a woman in one of our groups in the villages where we work. The woman is a parent of a disabled child. And so when the idea of organizing in the small groups came up, she thought that she could be able to access a loan from us, in this case now, not from their savings, and be able to start a chicken project. And she's very happy and she's doing well with her chicken project, and she's happy. She's able to pay the loan. She has never defaulted. She's able to continue saving, even increase her savings, and she's continuing to attend her group activities and her child.
Peter and Simon will still need a lot of help from the community, but already they're settling in at the new school and beginning to feel that some things at least are going a bit better.
Superpower, self-inspired.
Why do children end up on the streets? Often because of violence at home.
There's a lot of violence in homes. Children go to the streets because of violence at home. So if you want to do even something about street children, you cannot only rehabilitate them, you have to do something about the causes. So that is why the program of active non-violence started.
We have a program, the Community Program for Active Non-Violence and Human Rights, which is addressing this issue. Its main purpose is to empower the community to look at violence in an alternative way, that when there are disagreements, the community can readily solve their differences in a peaceful way. We have a community lawyer, but the particular important thing for this lawyer is empowering the community. They are training people from the community who have been sent to us by the community. And these people are trained to become paralegals. Paralegals will be versed in the basics of law, and they are in the society. So when there is a problem in society, the paralegals will be consulted by the community to solve the prevailing dispute. If the dispute should be beyond their scope, then they will refer it to our office, where the community lawyer will also take up the matter.
So they referred to us a case whereby a family they had been dealing with had a problem in that the children, after the parents died, both of HIV, the children were dispossessed of the land and chased away. So we went to Kinamba and established the fact that the children have been chased away from their land and that the parents had died. And so we wanted, one, that the children be brought back to the land, two, that their proprietary rights to the land be respected and acknowledged, and three, that they be built for a structure where they can live. There are 4 children. The eldest is now 18, who also has a child, and the rest were in primary school. So we went to the community, and then they raised money, 30,000 Kenya shillings, and formed a subcommittee which was to look into the finer details of how to build the house. So for us, we find that the intervention of St. Martin not only helped the children in protecting their rights, but also prevented a potential violent scene within the area.
St. Martin describes its mission as to build a strong capacity in communities of all faiths that actively implements the gospel of service by empowering and caring for vulnerable groups of people. And everyone involved with St. Martin feels convinced that in this process of sharing, it's more what they receive than what they give. No wonder the local bishop is a strong supporter.
So as far as the community is concerned, I think St. Martin is really going deep into the community to work together. And it gives principles which are in the gospel to love each other, to help each other. So in that context, I think that the work they are doing is not only proper, but is blessed, and they should continue to do it.
and the blessing of the mighty Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit come upon every one of you and remain with you now and forever.
All the activities that you have seen these days in St. Martin, we could summarize them in 3 words: only through community. Everything we do, we want to do with the people. We want to do with the community in order to help themselves take care of their own problem. I think we should really facilitate the sharing in the community to help themselves to tackle their own problems. So everything we do is only through community.
Asante Mungu Baba wetu.